Very good afternoon. This is Nikhil from Seed Infotech. Welcome you all to info session of Tricentis Tosca, the future of automation testing. Along with me, we have a subject matter expert, Mr. Ajay, who has been with us for more than 10 years and delivering testing programs to the retail as well as corporate training programs. And he's got Tricentis certified. And since November, we have been conducting these open house Tricentis programs in Seed Infotech Pune. Before we move on to the Tricentis Tosca presentation along with the Ajay, we would like to conduct a poll. You will get it on your screen, and then you can share your responses as per the poll. So we would like to know overall experience of all the audience through this poll. So you may now see it on your screen. Okay, 43% voted for 5 to 15 years, 20% 1 to 5. That's great. So we are talking to the larger 5 to 15 years of experience. People are there in the audience, and they're basically taking the 80% pie now. So we'll be moving ahead with this poll so that we have relevant questions from the working professionals across the people who have logged in. So I would request Mr. Ajay to take over the presentation further.
Thank you, Nikhil, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ajay, and as told by Nikhil, you can very well ask me questions in between maybe, or I will give you a chance to ask questions after we discuss on few things. And also after the entire webinar, we will be having an exclusive question answer session whereby you can type your questions in the chat box and I will answer those particular questions. I hope my screen is visible to you, and we'll be starting with this particular thing. So this particular webinar is on Tricentis Tosca, the future of automation testing. So as words suggest, obviously this particular webinar speaks a lot about testing, automation testing, tools, scripting, or maybe programming for that matter, controls, identifications, objects, so on and so forth. A lot of things are included. But you don't worry, because these things are very simple when we go with the right channel. Now, what is this channel is all about? What this tool is all about? Before actually just jumping into this particular, topic, let's have a look into the agenda for today. We're going to start discussing on current scenario of testing market. What is test automation means to us? Why to automate? Tools available, limitations of tools and users. What is Tosca basically? Why Tosca? And job opportunities, which is a very interesting topic for our discussion. So let's start one by one. Current scenario of testing market. This is a commonly known fact, and you can get this particular information any point of time from a Google search engine. That's not a big deal, but still a repetition kind of a thing for those who are new to this particular field or maybe unaware. We are actually a part of $17 billion industry, so that's a huge money involved. If we consider from INR point of view, it's roughly more than 6,500 CR, and that's a huge one. Now, when we consider this particular amount, at least 30 to 35% outsourced to India. See what exactly we can do. Okay, so let's continue. I was talking about this particular industry, which is actually 17 billion industry, $70 billion, and at least 30 to 35% outsourced to India. That clearly indicates that right now we are having a huge opportunity in terms of testing. Over a period of time, if we thought from testing point of view, many of you are 4 to 5 years experience, more than that. I started working in testing 10, 11 years back. And if we look back and if we consider that particular scenario at that particular point of time, testing industry has become so matured enough that previously, if we consider, we used to conduct interviews like what is testing, what are the types of testing, and that's it. And if we find that, okay, the sound knowledge of a testing is with some person, let's take in and let's start the project. But now the scenario has been changing over a period of time. Due to some maturity, due to a lot of maturity, in fact, due to a lot of maturity, there are n number of things gets involved. And many people who are working in testing, there is a need that these people should know automation because the entire world is moving towards that. Now, when we talk about this outsourcing, automation, and all those stuff, point number 3, there are various reasons actually plays a vital role. So what are the various reasons why India is a preferred market? Obviously, neutralize English speaking people, and second thing is that good talent, hard working people, ready to travel, ready to go extra miles and all that stuff. Well, that clearly indicates that at our project end, our clients, our customers demand or expect that we should work as per the requirements, as per the needs. But the catch begins when we actually could not differentiate between requirement and needs. Automation is a big game. If we analyze correctly and if we identify the correct needs and if we finalize the scope, then automation becomes a pleasure, otherwise it's become a real pain. Obviously, the last point, high demands in terms of quality and deliverables, that was there, but this is actually a different thing now will become. Entire business scenario is running based on the quality deliverables. There are n number of certification gets involved because previously we know that there are certain standards which we were following, like IEEE was the only standard which you all know. Now IEEE, ISTQB, ASTQB, hell lot of things are come in picture. If you consider a single tool, then there can be multiple certifications. Like if I'm gonna go with HP tools, then there can be UFT certification, LR, VU, that to version. If I go with Microsoft technologies, obviously Microsoft deliverables, Microsoft certifications gets involved. Test complete, Silk, load runner, lot of things comes in a picture. So this is a current scenario, and somewhere an automation engineer or a person who is wish to become an automation engineer is in puzzle. What exactly needs to get upgraded, or what exactly I need to do? Is there any solution which is a concrete solution and a one-stop solution whereby yes, I can say that now I'm completely comfortable with respect to functional testing or application lifecycle management for that matter? How to do that? How to achieve that? Let's see. A simple definition of test automation. We all may be knowing, but still, in software testing, test automation is the use of a special software, which is actually a separate entity from the software being tested, to control the execution of the tests and comparison of actual outcome with the predicted outcomes. Test automation is definitely a critical for continuous delivery and continuous testing. We all know these two terms have got introduced. We call it as CS, CI, continuous integration, continuous testing, and continuous deliverables. And yes, of course, test automation plays a vital role because this is manually inhuman or impossible to do the repetitive task again and again and again and again. That's not possible. And that's the birthplace of a test automation. We all have faced or we all have heard one interesting thing. We worked on that also, and that interesting part is called as regression. What is regression testing? It's just to check whether the impact on the unchanged modules and something like that. That's a theoretical definition. But when I say about regression testing is actually a birthplace for automation, and that's all we need to understand. And we all know. This is a pictorial presentation of what I said just now. There is some environment, maybe some Eclipse environment. There are certain libraries, some product libraries. Then there are certain element which are element variables. There is some business logic which is involved, that is nothing but our codings and all. Then you can actually pass this from the concurrent interface engine. You can pass to some test runner, maybe which is supporting Selenium. This particular files may be in XML getting generated or something like that. Or there can be some test template which is running behind. So if I consider this particular automation as such, as a big picture, seems to be very complicated. I mean, it is indeed a complicated task. And this is a problem. I mean, if I'm going to prepare my 2 years or 3 years plus experienced tester, an automation engineer, and if I say, okay, you will be working as an automation engineer, your salary would be 4 times what you are earning now. Will be happy. But immediately at the next moment, when he realized that this much complex environment that person needs to work it on, that becomes a tedious job. Because then it might be it's 1 month salary and it's over. High chances, right? What to do? That clearly indicates that when I talk about test automation, or when any organization think about any automation or any automation tool, there are certain strategic involvements that needs to be done. What exactly? At an individual level also the strategy works, has to work, what to do, which tool to select, and all that stuff. A very important point. Why to automate? That's what I said. Manually repeating these tests is costly and time consuming. Now there can be things like, okay, what is the cost involved in that? I have a tester on my payroll who is working for 9 hours, 10 hours, can work for 12 hours. It's normal practice. But the cost is involved. Once created automated test can be run over and over again at no additional cost, that they are much faster than manual tests. Automated software testing can reduce the time to run repetitive tests from days to hours. I mean, many of you may have followed this particular concepts whereby the regression test suite is ready. This particular regression suite can be converted into a batch file. The batch file can put in on a scheduler and it can be go as a nightly run. Quite possible. And this happens. So when I say these particular things in a minute, sounds easy, right? This is creating now a batch file and this running. There are challenges. One of the most important challenges is need for upgradation. That means if I'm working as a manual tester and my boss is telling me let's be an automation tester, I need to do a lot of upgradation. Second, tool cost. And this is actually highly ignored area. Because when I say, hey, my organization is into automation, obvious question, which tool? Maybe UFT? Wow, that's fantastic. 4.5 lakhs per seat license. Bingo. How many licenses are you going to get? 10, 20, 100, 1,000? Big challenge. Let's take an example that any organization which is a big brand, MNC, CMMI 5 and all that stuff, invested. But the question is, what is the cost realization at organizational level? For many of us, may be difficult to understand cost realization, but in a simple words, we call it as ROI, return on investment. Like for example, I'm going to invest 4.5 lakhs per seat license. I'm going to hire a person to whom I'm going to pay 9 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 12 lakhs maybe per annum. Now, cost of a tool, cost of a skill set, cost of a training, and the time invested in everything and is equal to the cost. Now, if that cost is less than the project cost or the money which we will get against that particular part of deliverable, then it's a failure. Now, different technologies are involved. Yes, that's a big challenge because we all have, or at least I have seen many applications which were started getting developed in Java, one of the Java flavor, then shifted, then many other additional controls got added, and all of a sudden the database changed. Now the bigger databases come into picture, and then all of a sudden somebody says, hey, there is something called as Java notations. Let's move towards that. So everything, the environment is changing. Now when the environment is changing, a tool is supposed to get confused. Forget about the tools. People gets confused. How about that identification? How I can write this particular code? What exactly I need to do with this particular object? What can be the operations after this particular alteration? A lot of questions. Some of them, or maybe most of them, are unanswered. Test data. This is a monster, Test data is unending. I mean, due to the different environment, due to different things which are changing, this test data is huge and needs to get fit in different frameworks. Of course, yes, because many of us have seen, or many of us maybe knowing the fact, like there can be various frameworks which gets involved. Those maybe your test data driven, or maybe keyword driven, or maybe modular, or maybe hybrid, or a lot of things, and you need to actually parse, or you need to manage this particular data in different frameworks. One of the key, object identification. Quickly we will see why object identification is important. Every tool which is running, every tool which is there in the market, or every tool which is there in the use, that works on a basic mechanism of object identification, the element understanding. Now when this particular object identification or element identification comes in a picture, every tool has its own limitation, or you can say a style, a way to approach, to understand, to capture and to play with that particular object. If we consider a simple example of UFT, UFT identifies any object by its properties. Mandatory, assistive, supporting, a lot of other properties comes in the picture. And if it fails, it will, we as a tester, as an automation tester, we need to create our own tool, own object identification code. We call it a descriptive programming. If we go with any other tool, like for example, WebDriver, Selenium WebDriver, yes, definitely there are certain properties which gets involved, or not, we need to write a code in Java. So ultimately, these tool actually speaking helps a tester to become a developer. Just kidding. I mean, that's not a motto, but that's not a wrong thing as well. But still, it's not a part of our discussion of this webinar. But still, the coding and a lot of coding may get involved. And these are the biggest challenges. You may have a question, you may have a doubt that, hey, why coding is, coding is a challenge. Okay, is coding is a challenge. Coding is not a challenge, but for the people who worked in manual testing over years, and all of a sudden if someone asks that, hey, from tomorrow, we're going to use a WebDriver and you need to start learning Java. Start coding in Java. Or VS 2010, and now you need to know C#.NET. Wow, that's a bomb, right? I mean, this is difficult. This is really difficult for a person to all of a sudden switch and to start studying, and that's where challenges come in a picture. And that's why it's written, these challenges actually resulting in tester becoming developer. I'm not saying it's wrong or right, it's bad or ugly or good. No, I'm not here to comment on that. It's a matter of choice. But on what basis you are making this particular choice will make a huge difference. So these are typical challenges. Then there has to be some solution, right? Let's understand what are the tools available. QTP or UFT, Selenium WebDriver, VS 2010, or we call it as now VS 2010, Silk Runner, Silk Tester, Test Complete, or any customized tool for that matter which organizations are running. Now why these particular things? Why these particular things we have discussed so far and so forth? There is a reason. See, when it comes to automation, when it comes to anything in the organization, or for that matter for a career of an individual, these challenges should not become hurdle. And if those are becoming hurdle, then moving towards automation will be a pain. Now the question is, I don't want to deal with such a dilemma, such a trauma, you can say. I want to be an automation test engineer, but at the same time, I I'm looking out for something which will help me to overcome these particular challenges. I'm good with my domain. I'm good with everything. I'm good with test cases. I'm good with testing. I'm good with anything and everything that comes in a application, requirements, analytics, everything. But there are certain limitations which at least 80% of testing fraternity faces, that all of a sudden I need to switch and start coding in a tool. What to do? What is the remedy? What is the solution? First of all, is there any? The answer is yes. These are our challenges which we just now discussed. I'm getting very less time to upgrade myself, or getting less time in my project to understand. I have certain predefined, or we can say dogmas, because of which I'm not able to cope up with these particular changes. We are continuously discussing, but there is no results as such. Things have become tedious, right? What to do? And this can be the solution, or rather, this is. So, what is Tosca basically? Tosca is a testing tool from Tricentis. I repeat, Tosca is a testing tool. Now, see, understand the words. Excuse me. When I say testing tool, it is comprising of functional testing and application lifecycle management as well. That is test management. So it's a complete package. Let's go back to our old days, whereby we have learned something called as STLC, software testing lifecycle. It starts with the requirement analysis. From software testing, requirement analysis. After requirement analysis, of course, there will be planning kind of a thing, test plan, then test design, or test automation, script creation in case of automation, execution, and of course, after that, closure. So this is typical software testing life cycle. If you see your screen in front of you, you can actually see Tosca provides everything. It has got test design for test cases. This is something, create modules is a unique which we'll discuss exclusively. It helps to build test cases. And here is a catch, because that's a clear-cut differentiation. Design and test cases. Now you may think, or some of you may say, hey, test case design is nothing but test design. The answer is no. Test design is a different thing and test case design is a different thing. Test design is, quickly, if I want to say something, that it's a creation of a framework for my testing. And from that particular framework, I go and I may create scenarios, or I can directly go for test case design. Two different things. Running, generating reports, and it starts with actually requirements. So everything gets covered in one tool, and that's a fantastic thing. Why Tosca? Why I am saying, okay, I'm not working in Tosca from my birth. No, not at all. When I started working in software testing industry, I worked along with at least 5 different tools. Customized tools, open source tool with like Selenium WebDriver. Yes, I do work in UFT, QDB. I work with HP tools. Everything I did. The question is, why Tosca? If this particular screen is clear in front of you, this is what we call it as Gartner report, or Gartner Magic Quadrant. Now this is exclusive report for 2016. At the end of 2016, this is being published. Now this particular corner speaks about, or quadrant speaks about, leaders. These are challengers who can challenge later. Okay, these are niche players and these are visionaries. Now if you see in leaders, IBM, HP, Those were rulers. And if you see, and this is actually coping up or may go up over a period of time, and this is what Tricentis lies. So Tricentis has again been named leader in Gartner Magic Quadrant for Software Test Automation 2016 report. The report focuses on the UI automation facilities of the tool. Vendors in this Magic Quadrant must provide the ability to create, manage, and execute functional test automation. So this is a criteria for this particular quadrant. And Tricentis has proven that. Now it is not only at the UI automation, because when we talk about automation, every automation tester or automation industry expect that the tool which they are using or the person who are doing this particular automation should be good with UI automation as well as good with non-UI. For example, XML or maybe web services for that matter, it does support. It supports. Now there are certain benefits. Now what can be benefits of this particular tool? Obviously market leading, model based test automation together. Now this is a time whereby I should explain you which I parked modules. For that reason I need one diagram which I'm going to show it to you. And this is a diagram. Model based test automation. Now see, there is a clear-cut differentiation between script-based automation and model-based test automation. When I say script-based test automation, it is basically depend on capture and replay. Like for example, UFT that captures, that records, and play if required or whenever required. Or if there is some issues with the identification, it should get developed and replay. Nothing but formation of test framework. So these are typical things which happens with the script-based test automation tool, and all the tools which we discuss falls under this category. Now Tricentis Tosca, the category is unique and different. The category is model-based test automation, and this is what we call it as next generation tool. Now model-based means this particular tool is independent of technologies. It creates a separate modules, it creates a separate models for every element or everything which it accesses. We call it a scan and keeps us ready for the further use. And this is a unique feature. Now, it is stable and low maintenance. Test cases require the test automation being generated dynamically from the business perspective. And this is what is expected. And it being a model based, it becomes easier to create this particular business perspective test cases quickly by using this particular tool, Tricentis Tosca. Now, market leading test case design and planning, that's what we discussed, because that becomes very quick, very easy. Strong analytics and risk coverage model. Okay, there is a phrase, testing is risk-based activity. That means what? We always consider high risk test first and then we move ahead, and that's the entire logic. And that's true, because when we want to deliver the needs always focuses on the risks, and risk needs to get covered. Then you can say that yes, we have done optimum testing, and it does that. Integrated synthetic test data management, very interesting. Integrated synthetic data test data management. Synthetic data is nothing but a test data which is being generated by the testers or the people who are involved in the project execution. But that becomes very easy to integrate. You can have your test data in Excel, you can have your test data in XML or any other file for that matter, which can be easily uploaded to Tosca and can be used. Interesting thing. Service virtualization and orchestration. You can actually deal with services, web services, maybe SOAP, UI you can test, you can have REST APIs, a lot of things you can actually work along with this particular tool. So these are benefits. Have a look how at a UI level it appears. This particular Tosca test suite is divided into sections. We call it as perspective. Test cases. You have execution lists or execution. This is modules whereby you can have the modules generated or created. You have requirements placed on this, and obviously there is a unique thing which is called as test design. So this is at a UI level, very simple UI and easily understandable. These particular things are user created, the names are given, okay, and you can actually create your test cases using this particular UI in this particular perspective. How it works basically. When I say that it creates modules, it creates tests, it creates test cases, it creates automation, how it creates, what exactly happens? Pretty simple. This is a structural representation of Tosca Commander. If we start from the down layer, you can have many things like you have XSD, you have HTML docs, you have XML, maybe SOA, and so on and so forth. There are certain engines which are provided. These particular engines targets towards XML, XSD, or if I consider exclusive browser for that matter, then we have Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, so on and so forth. So you can have multiple browsers also, which are getting involved for understanding the application. Then you have Web Service Engine, WSC 3.0. Those are for these particular cloud-based applications or maybe for web services, sorry. Now, if we go up, there is something called as T-Box platform. T-Box, the full form is Tricentis Box platform, which actually controls the execution or scanning. Now, what happens actually? When we say scan, we say XScan, that is means start capturing, the T-Box platform gets initialized. From XScan control layer, it goes down and it sees which is the technology under test. It may be your, it may be your Java, it may be your .NET or whatever it may be. Or for that matter, if it's a web service or something that. If it is a web service, then obviously WSE engine, with the help of that, we can capture, we can store, and we can test. If it is XML based and there are certain engines related to XML, XSD, those captures those particular things, gets those particular things into. If the application is developed using HTML, that means if it's a simple, clear-cut, web-based application, obviously if it's a web-based application, the interface, that is browser, comes in a picture. And browser, what it does is basically, depending upon the type of browser you are selecting, start capturing the things, start scanning the things. After this particular scan, these particular things gets saved or stored at some location. And at the time of execution, if you see here, T-Box run task gets executed. Again, it goes to control layer and it checks whether at engine layer what is that being captured and what needs to get executed with the help of which engine, and it executes that particular thing. So this is the way, and this is how it works, and this is a simple thing, and that's what I said that Tosca actually a script. It's independent of the technology, and it works fantastically. So what matters, what is the most important thing in this is this engine layer. Okay, and Tricentis provides a very strong engines for every technology for that matter. Normally it is supporting more than 13 technologies, and I think those are sufficient. And those are more than enough rather. And if there are any, Tricentis always add some new engines and try to create some new T-Box functions to use, ready to use for the users. Have a look. Certain important things. There is something called as, Tosca Analytics. From every test management tool or a function testing tool, it is expected that it should create a fantastic report. But every tool has its limitations, because of which it needs to get interfaced with the tool, which may be a third party or some other tool, whereby that report should get generated. The Tosca has its own Tosca Analytics. This actually helps to create reports. Then there is something called as Tosca Event Monitor. This is again a unique thing. When I'm running many things parallelly, these particular events gets monitored. Exploratory testing server, and this is really unique. Because no other tool in this world actually has a capacity to understand and to record exploratory testing, and this can be easily done with the help of Tosca. Because exploratory testing is an area whereby we work and we don't remember what we actually did. Maybe at times, but it helps to remember and it helps to replicate. There are certain things called a distribution server for distributed execution, and definitely Tosca REST API. These particular things are newly added. Those were there, but with the rich functionalities added in the newer version, which is 10.0. And this is really important and crucial. Now, when I speak a lot of things about this particular automation testing, these I wanted to show you the glimpse, how get you introduced with this particular Tosca quickly, and how actually Tricentis, Hawaii, Tosca, and all that stuff. A small comparison between all these tools, though the comparison word is different, but still we did it, and we have seen that yes, it is more good, a better tool to handle. One of the most important and the key feature which I haven't mentioned in my presentation is Tosca is scriptless automation tool, and absolutely scriptless. Now, if I learn Tosca or if I know Tosca, what can be my job opportunities? Which is a valid question at a fresher level, at experience level, at every level rather. If I consider job opportunities, various job opportunities are available, starting from entry level, then experience 2 to 4, experience category from 4 to 8, and experience category 8 plus. So everything, at every stage, at every level, there are jobs which are available. Now, what is the role of a person who is entry level for a Tosca? Maybe scanning, maybe execution. What can be the role of a person who is between 2 to 4 or 4 to 8? Creation of this particular Tosca test suite test cases by linking logically and creation. Experience 8 plus, definitely they will focus towards the servers, like for example review, and then from server point of view how the distribution can be done, distribution list, and then usage of Tosca analytics. So these are the things which are there, and these are huge number of opportunities are coming on our way from this particular Tosca job opportunities point of view. Again, I am repeating some few things which are interesting out here. These are some of the benefits. Let's go back and let's recall what challenges we have seen or we have discussed. Need for upgradation. If I as a tester going to use Tosca, do I really need to upgrade to some development technology? Answer is no. Tool cost. It is not more than UFT, that's for sure. Cost realization at organization level, 40 hours of trainings or 60 hours of trainings. Different technologies involved for a single application development. The problem is solved because Tosca works independent of technologies. Test data is unending and needs to get fit in different frameworks. Problem solved again because Tosca uses only one framework, that is model based. So test data can be reused at every moment. Object identification, again the problem is solved because no technology is involved directly, and because of that and because of that object identification cannot be concerned anymore. So see guys, we started with the problems, identified some 8 problems in the current automation scenario, and we have got the solutions for that as well. So this is how basically the Tosca is designed. Tricentis has given us a solution whereby a manual tester at entry level or 2 plus or 4 plus or 8 plus can easily get absorbed as an automation engineer. Let's go back on this particular slide. Why to automate? Manually repeating these tasks, cost and time consuming. Definitely usage of this particular tool will save the time for an individual and at organization level. Can I do time nightly run with this? Of course, yes. Can I create a batch file to execute? Yes, definitely. Can I have a distributed execution? Definitely, yes. Can I work with cloud? Yes. Can I work with a SOAP UI? Can I work with REST API? Answers are yes, yes, and yes. Would that be any problem with the object identification? No. Oh, do I need to really focus on these particular complicated diagrams whereby a business logic comes in a picture, a business logic command, the environment, the development environment, the ID and all that stuff? No. So, this thing has gone, this thing has gone, and this thing is also gone. And that's the fantastic thing. And I can have the complete implementation of STLC by using this Tosca. And that's why this particular thing is achieved. So guys, this is about a small presentation kind of a thing from my side. I'm stopping here because that's what the introduction which I wanted to give it to you, and make you aware that there is a fantastic solution which is available already in automation world. When we say that 6,000 CR industry getting outsourced 30 to 35%, with the fantastic tool like Tosca, we can actually create the magic. No doubt in that. So that's it from my side. Now it's your turn. If you have any questions, you can actually start typing in the chat box. I will answer. Those are the questions. Hello all. I got a very interesting question from Arun. Okay, and I think we should discuss this. The question is, does the tool works for application testing also? Apps like Android and iOS can be tested. There are certain things which are there. Yes, Tosca do support some sort of mobile app testing, but not 100% right now. But there are certain limitations. But Tricentis is in the process of finalizing those particular, T-box engines, and those will get delivered. And yes, definitely it will be incorporated. The question from Vidya Sagre is, will you give exercise during workshops which we conduct? Definitely yes. There will be multiple exercises which will be provided, and yes, I ensure that once this particular workshop is being attended, the people who will be attending this particular workshop will definitely be AS1 and AS2 certified at the end of the day, and that can be easily achievable.
Hi everyone, Nikhil here. So there were a few queries where Mr. Ajay has marked it for me. Like you had, I think Arun had asked about the license product once you enroll for this program. See, generally we have the labs environment available in our Pune office currently, and this lab environment will be available for that particular batch period, because we do conduct different programs in the same facility. So we won't be able to issue license product to the participant, but yes, for that particular period you can have the access and you can practice it.
Correct, and after that you can actually download the evaluation copy, which is of 15 days. The obvious question may be, what after that? Because once I install that particular evaluation copy, I need to format. Otherwise, it will not allow me to reinstall. Advisable is you can create a VPC and install on that, and the VPCs can be reused. This can be the solution for you guys if you want to use. How to get this particular evaluation copy? You need to register yourself with the Tricentis at tricentis.com, and you can get an access to download the evaluation copy. So this is a process.
Any more questions, friends? Okay. Then I think Vaibhav Singh is asking about how can we attend the training for Tosca? Are there any certification available? So yes, we do have currently a classroom training program which will be uh, led by the Mr. Ajay only, and we're starting on the next weekend. And it is spread over 2 weekends considering the working professional engagements. People are generally available on weekends, so Saturday 4 days, Saturday, Sunday, morning 9:30 to 6:30 will be the duration of the batch. I'll be sharing the outline of the program and also the details on your email ID. The registered email ID for this webinar I'll be using to share all the details.
Samir, yes, your question is valid. Definitely 10 plus years of experience, and yes, there will be a huge opportunity for you which will be coming in through AS1 and AS2. Once you're AS1 and AS2, definitely when you will be there in the classroom, I will speak more on this, that how and what type of opportunities, what type of interviews can be scheduled and all that stuff. Yes, there will be. There will be.
Okay, we have okay.
Vaibhav, you asked, can we also automate ETL testing using Tosca? Yes, Arun.
Arun will discuss offline your question, and I've already answered that. If you're from Chennai, we do not have batch in Chennai currently, because we are currently scheduling the training program in Pune only. Is there okay? Is there any possibility for you to join the class? So I would recommend to fly down to Pune. That is option one. Secondly, if we have any future schedule in Bangalore or Chennai, you can join in. Okay, we have almost taken up the question. So if please type in. Okay, Arun is okay. That's a good question, Arun. Mr. Rajay will answer.
Okay, if you consider only one brand, I'm not going to take the name of that particular brand. 150 candidates got certified from 10 batches, and I have conducted 9 out of those particular 10. At our premises, we have conducted 5 with an average capacity of 12, and out of 60, all 60. So you can consider at least, as per my knowledge, 250 candidates are Tosca certified in AS1 and AS2. I'm speaking only from Pune, that too from one brand.
Yes, definitely. You will be falling under the early bird, early adopters of Tosca practitioners for at least AS1 and AS2.
Arun, is it possible to share with us that which organization you are working with? Okay, thank you.
So we have questions from Arun. Any more certification after the completion of AS1 and AS2?
Yes, definitely. You can go for AE1, which is Automation Engineer 1, then AE2, Automation Engineer 2. Then you can have TQL, which is Tosca Query Language. Then there is Test Case Design Exclusive, then Test Data Management Exclusive, and then Advanced Test Case Design. And that's it. So in all 9 certifications a person can opt for.
And all of you, I would recommend to visit on Tricentis website. And on Tricentis website, there is a dedicated tab, Why Tricentis. So you can find out all the resources like webinars, then all the information about the IDC papers and the Gartner research, how the Tricentis has been implemented, and what are the future trends into the continuous testing, automation testing practice. So please do visit on Tricentis website.
So guys, that's it from my side, and I hope there are no questions. If you still have a questions, you can anytime type, and I would like to share my email ID with you. Okay, which you can you can post your questions on that. Okay, I'm writing my email ID. I hope that is visible to all of you. It's I'll give you, it's Ajay S @ live.in. Okay, you can mail me at ajay@live.in, and I will be able to reply back to you. And if not, you can even post to Nikhil, and Nikhil can forward it to me if there are certain issues with the email or something like that. So that's it, guys, from my side for a time being. I appreciate and I thank you all for listening to me, and thank you all, and have a nice weekend. See you. Bye.
All right, friends. Nikhil this side. I am also signing off now, and I'll be sharing all the details about the programs which we are starting from the next weekend. And for any information, you can contact me on the coordinates which has been mentioned in my email. Thanks, and a happy weekend.